What's up YouTube, That's here, bringing you guys another VGC 2015 replay. Today we're going to be going off against, I should call this guy Clover, I guess. He has, Ferrothorn, Cresselia, Kangaskhan, and that Crawdaunt. A lot of people always talk about that Crawdaunt hype. I actually just think it's like a worse for Alligator, which is probably a worse Empoleon, which is probably a worse... I don't even know how much worse it can get. It's a thing that uses Aqua Jet, and I don't really like Crawdaunt, but that's the end of my hate on Crawdaunt, because people always talk about the Crawdaunt hype being a dark water type. We're going to mess him up. We're going to use Landorus, Amoonguss, Metagross, and Gengar. We're using Metagross again. Like I said, I'm going to be using Metagross for just a little while. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, and I need to put in some work with its Mega, because it definitely needs some more love. So without further ado, we're starting this off, getting right into it, and yeah, we're playing against a guy who uses Crawdaunt. I don't know if you guys don't like Crawdaunt as much as I do, but every once in a while, you'll see these threads, and they'll pop up with people saying, oh, Crawdaunt's going to be meta. Crawdaunt is like the next big thing. It has knockoff, it has Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance on that thing, I think, is the most pointless thing. You're going to be spamming Aqua Jet anyways. Why do you need Dragon Dance? You're much better off using Swords Dance. And then if you're going to be using like Swords Dance, why don't you just use like Fralgator or like something else? Anyways, that's the end of my hate on this guy. We're starting this game off. We're a little bit behind. We're going for a superpower on Ferrothorn. I did not expect this lead out of this guy. Out of all the Pokemon you would expect him to lead with, you would usually not expect him to lead with both of his walls. And that's just what he did. So we go for the Spore on Crest, and we're going to see something a bit more uncommon. I was surprised it hit. I was like, wow, he doesn't have safety goggles. Okay. And because it looks like a Trick Room lead, but you saw you Ice Beam me, and then we see a Lumberry. So Lumberry Crest, I think safety goggles would have been a much better option, but there have been a lot of Pokemon recently carrying Toxic just to take care of Cresselia. So Lumberry is not terrible. I don't fault it. I'm just actually, in my opinion, happy to see Lumberry in this case. So we're just going to pop a U-turn. U-turn is much better off than just hard switching. But it does show that I'm not scarfed or choiced or anything like that. So we are going to switch out of there. Note that I wasn't doing that much damage because my attack was reduced from my own superpower as we go into Metagross. And we're going to see Cresselia pop a Calm Mind, which is kind of scary. But looking at my board, I have Amoonguss, I have Gengar, I have Metagross, and I have Landorus. Cresselia shouldn't be that much of a problem. So we put it to bed. We're just going to deal with that a little bit later. And like I said, I safely got Metagross onto the board as he goes for a Gyro Ball, and the Gyro Ball is not targeting the correct target. It's targeting my Amoonguss, my speed-reduced nature, 0 speed Amoonguss. So not the best play he's ever done, as we hard switch out for Gengar. He probably thought I was just going to switch that turn. So we have two Pokemon on the board that potentially can threaten this Cresselia while it is asleep. Like I said, we're going to go Mega, and one cool thing about Metagross, I've been thinking about it, you don't always have to go Mega with this guy. Like, if you know they have Intimidators, you can just like sit back on that clear body, which is one of the reasons most people like this guy for so long. He was one of the safest Pokemon to bring back in 2013 when Intimidates were running rampant because of his clear body. You couldn't lower his stats. And with the use of like Icy Wind, he can switch in on so many more cool moves and not have his stats drop because of it. So we see the Ferrothorn went for a Leech Set on my Metagross. Not the end of the world, but we're going to get to pop a Shadow Ball. Note that we're targeting Ferrothorn with a Shadow Ball instead of the Cresselia. If the Cresselia might have gotten, like, if it didn't use the Calm Mind, I probably would have targeted Cresselia. The main reason why I targeted Ferrothorn was just because I knew that I could target that slot safely, and Metagross doesn't really have that many moves to be able to deal with Ferrothorn. I'm not running Brick Break on this guy, sorry guys. So we get a double KO, and his last two Pokemon are going to be coming out. It's going to be Kang and Crawdaunt. Oh man. I mean, you guys have to tell me what you guys think about Crawdaunt. It's just, I've never liked it. So many people are like, oh, this is the coolest thing in the world. And I'm like, it's not. It's just not. So anyways, we're going to see a Sucker Punch fail, obviously, because I'm going for a Will-O-Wisp onto Crawdaunt, because I thought he would just not let, this guy was just completely willing to let his Kang eat a Will-O-Wisp, but I could not believe that. But one thing his Kang is going to be eating is a big Meteor Mash, as we see Crab Hammer come in. So, not using Aqua Jet, going for that Crab Hammer with a Life Orb. So, very unique set. Life Orb on Crawdaunt is not something I would really recommend, because Life Orb only boosts the power of the moves you're using, and if you're using moves like Crab Hammer and Aqua Jet, you're not really getting the biggest bang for your buck out of that thing. I think probably a sash would have been much better on this guy. So we're gonna hard switch out. We know that he's gonna be targeting that Metagross slot. I could feel it in my bones. So we go for a second Will-O-Wisp. Note that he didn't go for any sucker punches this time. He was much too smart as he goes for a return on what was my Metagross slot. Gonna be my Amoonguss now. Gonna be my Rocky Helmet Amoonguss. And womp womp womp, poor Kangaskhan. And so we are going to be able to finish off this Kangaskhan this turn. We're going to see Crawdaunt get a cheap shot in. He goes for a critical hit knockoff. Gonna still leave my sash, so I like the way that mechanic works. And we know Kangaskhan's going to tick down from burn. And since I'm not really the biggest fan of Crawdaunt, I'm gonna rub it in a little bit. Like, you know, in Hearthstone, people like do the most possible plays they can do before they win. I'm gonna do one of those in Pokemon. I could just like Rage Powder and like Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb this guy and he'd be gone. I'm gonna try and style on him a little bit. So we know he's going for the Aqua Jet. We know he is. So we're just gonna Rage Powder. He's gonna take recoil damage from that Rocky Helm. He's gonna take Life Orb damage, and we're gonna try and set up one of the coolest plays on Gengar. We're going for that Destiny Bond. Destiny Bond and doubles is something I'm super hype about right now. So the way this works is if the next move that is used KOs this guy, you know, I get the KO. So if he would have Aqua Jetted me, he would have KO'd himself. But what it does is it forces him to not Aqua Jet, which means I just get to KO him with Shadow Ball. So it's a little bit of style, but it definitely had a purpose, and it made me feel great about you know, sticking it to that Crawdaunt because I don't see the hype. I know some of you guys are gonna think like way back when I was swept by one and I'm just super salty about it, but I don't see the hype, guys. Like, just use a Swampert. Use Swampert. It doesn't have the Aqua Jet, but I mean, wow, I would have been a much better Pokemon. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this game. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.